Hey everyone, it's Myriam, and for this week's video I thought I'd show you a little landscape practice that I've been doing recently. So I have this Moleskine watercolour sketchbook, and I'm not very good at landscapes. I've never really tried them because they always really scared me. Compositions I find are very difficult, and I think landscapes are all about values more than what actually makes them up. So instead of seeing like a few different trees in the distance, you have to work on the values to make the viewer understand that they are trees rather than doing the outline of a tree and all that. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I always thought they were really daunting. The concept of them really scared me. So I thought I'd practice them. So I did 5 landscapes, although the last one isn't really a landscape, but I did kind of 5 practice paintings in that perspective, and these are the first 2 ones. I wanted to do a full video with all of them in there, but it just ended up being so long that I decided that it would be probably easier if I did 2 different parts. So this is part 1, and I'll be posting part 2 next week. So I don't really know what I can say about them. The first one is kind of a foresty landscape with a stream going through it, and this was my first attempt, and I went for I had a really green undertone to it for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. I wanted to practice that thing that I see other people doing, where they kind of lay down a one value on one color on the page with different values of the same color, so like a monochrome type back painting, if you will. And I never really done that. I'd always seen things in different colors and painted them as such, and it's not very efficient in my perspective. I feel like it doesn't really tie the whole thing together, and a landscape is a unity. It's something that goes all together and that kind of things flow into each other, and you see it as a whole rather than as loads of little different elements. At least I do. I don't know. I don't know if that's unusual or not, but at least that's how I perceive, especially a painting of a landscape. It's just a unity and things that kind of fit together well, with colors repeating themselves here and there to make a flowing unity to the whole thing. Am I just rambling about random nonsense? I don't know. Does that make sense to anyone? I hope it does, because otherwise I'm just rambling on and sounding crazy. But so I wanted to practice that, so I just decided to go with this one monochrome first in the background, just to see if it would work, and just practice that. And then I added on top kind of other colors mixed in with my base color, and that they gave different values and different color tones, but there was always this united color background, if that makes sense. I wanted to practice painting water too, because I find it's a really, really difficult element to paint, and so I just went for this landscape, and made a little stream through a forest. I think I'll do probably some more water studies in the future, because as difficult as I find it, it's also so satisfying when you get a result that you actually like. Water is such an elusive subject to go for, and I've researched so many different people's techniques and stuff for painting it that now I'm really excited about it, and I just want to try it over and over again. So yeah, that was the first painting, and now I'm starting the second one. The objective for that one for me was a little bit different. I wanted to paint water and kind of dark, earthy, foresty undertones in my previous one, and in this one I wanted to practice lighting, but in a dramatic way. I wanted to be able to do contrast and mood lighting better, because I'm not very good at lighting also. Just things that are kind of storytelling like features of a painting, like the atmosphere of the painting, the composition of the elements in it, lighting and movement and things like that, are things that I've never really practiced before, because they always daunted me. And I think when you start painting and drawing, you just go for things that you're more comfortable with initially, because you want to feel like you're progressing, and you want to feel comfortable in what you're doing, and you want to be loving it. It's not something that you're not, at least me, when I first started, I wasn't in the mindset of I'm going to try what I don't like painting because I want to improve. I was in the mindset of I'm painting because I want to be happy, and this is making me happy, and if I get a result I like, I'm happy. So I wanted to do it when I was in the right mood and the right set of mind. And now I've kind of changed my perspective on painting a little bit, and because I would quite like to make it my job in part, I decided that I would push myself a little bit more in a certain direction that I wasn't as comfortable with. So my perspective has changed on the way I perceive my job and my hobbies, and I've decided to push myself in directions I was less comfortable in. So lighting is one of them, and especially in watercolor and gouache, there are specific techniques that you can use to make something look like it's light. And so in gouache you can use white. In watercolor you tend to have to use either masking fluid, or you just know you're medium enough that you know how to control the amount of water and where you're painting and where your paint goes and things like that. So they are mediums that are really good for painting light moods and things like that, but are also quite challenging. So I wanted to push myself and try that with them. And for these paintings, I forgot to mention that they are all from reference. So I had a picture reference for each one of them. And I use mostly gouache for all of them, and I'll do probably some few watercolor studies in the future too, because I haven't touched watercolor in a little while, which is odd for me, but I need to get back to it at some point. I think I've just been enthralled in the newness of my gouache set. But yeah, that's it for this. These are my 2 paintings of landscapes. These are the 2 first ones, and I'll have 3 new ones in next week's video. If you want to see more of my work, you're more than welcome to follow me on Instagram at Myriam Tillson. And if you'd like to see another one of my videos, I did a video about Caucasian skin tones in gouache last week if you want to see that. So yeah, I hope you're all good, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys.